She was a respected nurse, a mother, and a woman everyone trusted. But behind closed doors, she carried a dark secret, one that would shock an entire community. At 43, she had spent years caring for others, but nothing could prepare her for the storm she was about to face. It started as a friendship, innocent, harmless. Her son's best friend, just 17, was always around, always seeking advice, always looking up to her. But somewhere along the way, the lines blurred. What began as warmth and comfort turned into something forbidden, something dangerous. And when the unthinkable happened, when a pregnancy test revealed the truth, everything spiraled out of control. The betrayal, the whispers, the rage, emotions ran high, and soon the story took a deadly turn. What led to the brutal crime that would shake this quiet town? And who was truly to blame? Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking truth. She never meant for things to go this far. At first, it was just late-night talks in the kitchen, small moments of understanding that felt harmless. He was struggling, dealing with school, family pressures, and the weight of growing up too fast. She listened when no one else did. She made him feel seen. And in return, he made her feel something she hadn't felt in years, wanted. But when the truth started creeping in, reality hit hard. Her son began to notice the way they looked at each other. His best friend, once carefree and full of life, now carried a secret too heavy for his young shoulders. And when rumors started to spread, the walls closed in. Then came the pregnancy, the moment that turned whispers into full-blown chaos. It wasn't just a mistake anymore, it was real. And as fear and desperation took hold, the story took a terrifying turn no one saw coming. The moment the pregnancy was confirmed, everything changed. She had always been careful, always in control, but now there was no hiding from the truth. The boy, her son's best friend, was terrified. He had never imagined things would go this far. What started as a reckless secret between them had turned into something impossible to ignore. And when he told her he wasn't ready, that this couldn't happen, the fear in his voice shook her to her core. Meanwhile, her son felt the shift in the air. His best friend had grown distant, avoiding him, dodging questions, looking over his shoulder like a man being hunted. And his mother, once warm and steady, now seemed restless, distracted. The pieces didn't fit together, but something told him he didn't want to know the truth. But the truth had a way of coming out, and when it did, it wouldn't just break hearts, it would destroy lives. As the days passed, the weight of their secret became unbearable. She found herself glancing over her shoulder, fearing judgmental eyes. The young man, once vibrant, now wore a mask of anxiety, his youthful innocence eroded by the gravity of their situation. He avoided his best friend, her son, whose growing suspicions threatened to unravel everything. One evening, her son confronted her, his voice trembling. "Mom, what's going on? You've been acting strange, and so has he." She struggled to find words, her heart pounding. The walls seemed to close in, the air thick with unspoken truths. Meanwhile, the young man faced pressure from his own family, who noticed his erratic behavior. They demanded answers, pushing him closer to the edge. The community, too, began to whisper, sensing that something was amiss. Tensions reached a boiling point, with emotions running high and relationships hanging by a thread. The stage was set for a confrontation that would change their lives forever. The night everything fell apart started like any other, silent, uneasy, filled with tension no one dared to name. But then, a single message changed everything. Her son's best friend, unable to bear the weight of their secret any longer, sent a text. Not to her, not to his parents, but to her son. "We need to talk. There's something you should know." Her son's blood ran cold as he stared at the words. He had spent weeks feeling like something was off, but now the truth was within reach. Without hesitation, he grabbed his keys and stormed out, his mind racing with possibilities. At the same time, she saw the message too. Panic gripped her chest. If her son found out now, in the worst possible way, There would be no controlling what happened next. She needed to stop him, but she was already too late. The night had only just begun, and the real nightmare was about to unfold. Her son drove fast, his hands gripping the wheel, his mind replaying every strange moment, the stolen glances, the hushed conversations, the tension that had crept into his home like an unseen force. He wasn't ready for what he was about to learn, but something inside him told him he had to know. When he arrived, his best friend was already waiting, pacing nervously outside his house. His face was pale, his hands shaking. "I didn't know how to tell you," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "It just happened." Before he could say more, she pulled up, slamming the car door behind her. "Please," she begged, her voice breaking. "Just come home. Let's talk about this." But it was too late. The truth hit like a crashing wave, and her son's world shattered in an instant. Then the unexpected happened. A second secret, a lie buried even deeper, came to light, turning betrayal into something even more dangerous. The truth they all thought was the worst thing imaginable was only half of the story, and what came next, no one saw coming. Silence hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Her son stood frozen, his mind racing to process the truth. His best friend, someone he had trusted like a brother, had betrayed him in a way he never imagined. And his mother, the one person who was supposed to protect him, had been at the center of it all. Tears filled her eyes. "I never meant to hurt you," she whispered, but the damage was done. The bond they once had was gone, replaced by something cold and unrecognizable. Her son shook his head, stepping back, distancing himself not just physically but emotionally. Days turned into weeks, and the weight of their choices lingered. The young man left town, unable to face the wreckage he had helped create. She, too, was left alone, forced to confront the consequences of her actions. And her son, he walked away, knowing some wounds never fully heal.